Married couple Alison, Brie, and Dave Franco decide to get even closer with their brand new film together. Written and directed by Michael Shanks, this body horror might be just what the Love Doctor ordered, or it might be a little intense for people that aren't familiar with this type of film. But don't worry, I've got you covered. I'm going to tell you all about Together in a spoiler-free review. Let's begin. First things first, on the realist. Drop this and let the whole world feel this. If you find yourself enjoying the commentary, besides what I just did, feel free to subscribe to the show. Adam Does Movies on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. I'm everywhere you want to be, or nowhere, depending on your platform preference. In either case, I would appreciate it. All right, Together. It's R-rated. It's an hour and 40 minutes long. It's got a tiny bit of nudity. It's got some weird body part blending, and it's got a few disturbing, spooky moments. But this is not the type of movie where you're going to be like hiding under the covers, like, oh my stars, oh my gosh. Now, this is more of a thriller with a couple occasional spots where you might go, oh my heavens, that's a bit much. Alison Brie, outside of being a natural beauty, is just a very witty, humorous actress, and I'd like to see her in more comedies in the future. I mean, outside of Community that she absolutely shines in. Here, though, there's some great banter between this couple. There's some good chemistry, because they're married, of course. And the script is clever enough to keep you guessing where this relationship is going to go. Because unlike in real life, these two are not married in the film, but they have started the next chapter in their life. Which, of course, entails Dave's character Tim being an absolute simp for his wife, abandoning his friends, and moving out to the country.
I love you.
Welcome to being basically married, Tim. You're gonna hate it here.
Okay.
These two move away from their tight-knit group in the cities and off into this country home where they're gonna try to start from scratch. They move into a pretty stunning home in the middle of nowhere out on a lot of acres. Thing probably costs a decent amount of money, which is a little hard to figure out because Tim, not bringing much revenue into the family, he's a struggling musician in his mid-30s who doesn't bring in a steady paycheck. And so I suppose that means Millie's the breadwinner here who's able to afford this place. She must have a very good job, checks notes, as a teacher. Make it make sense. Okay, outside of me being completely bewildered how they can afford this place, it does have a couple perks, one of which includes a beautiful walking trail that's going to lead to a sketchy hole in the ground that may or may not contain a mysterious pool of water that once you drink from will bond you to the significant other, quite literally. Yeah, these two lovebirds go out on a nature walk. Neither of them really knows how to read a compass, but they decide in their infinite wisdom that the best course of action is to just keep swimming. So they go further into the woods where they're gonna follow a sight of bells, which will probably lead them to their ultimate demise. You'll have to find that out on your own by watching the film because that's as far as I'm going with the story. I will just say, this one moved very well, kept me on the edge of my seat, and I had a great time watching it. In fact, this is one of my favorite horror movies of the year. And I know, you're probably watching this like, what? Holy shit. This guy just said this is one of his favorite movies of the year. I respect him so much that this blows my mind. I gotta go out and see it immediately. This asshole over here said this is one of his favorite movies. Everybody, quick, sound the alarms. Bee-oo-wee-oo. Sarcasm aside, I did really enjoy it, and I think you might too, if you're into this sort of thing. And by sort of thing, I mean, it's kind of creepy. There is some body dysmorphic shit going on. Alison Brie's like reverse crab walking at one point because this special water wants these two together, hence the title. Together. And so the rest of the film, you're gonna be sitting there with them trying to figure out why this is happening, how this is happening, and how the hell do they make it stop? And thankfully, the movie will kind of answer most of those questions to a satisfying enough degree. Now, as for the ending, I'm not saying what it is. I'll just say you might not like it. You might really enjoy it. I found myself on the negative and then moved to the positive by the time the credits rolled. So for me, it worked. But I can see that kind of pissing some people off to a point where they don't like the movie anymore. Let's just say this is one of those movies that's not necessarily about the destination. It's about the journey. And boy, how it's a fun one. Now, some people, when I say body horror, might think of the tried and true classic, The Thing, which would be great because The Thing is phenomenal. But they might think of something more modern, such as The Substance with Demi Moore. And if you're that person and you hated The Substance, so this would repel you, maybe tread a little lighter, because I don't think this is near as intense as something like The Substance. It's not near as gross. It's not near as graphic. The Substance was one of my favorite movies last year. My wife absolutely hated it, and she actually hated me for showing her. She's like, "Do you even know me? Bruh, do you even know me?" She, for some reason, talks like a 14-year-old boy. But I made a mistake. And I think, you know what? I'm willing to make another one. I don't think she'll hate this. In fact, I think this will work for her. This type of movie doesn't have near the level of layers to it and social commentary that something like The Substance has. It also doesn't have near the outlandish moments. And if that doesn't convince some of you to see it, since I am a gentleman and a scholar at the end of the day, and know that some people will be more enticed by the finer things in the world, Alison Brie shows her boobies for a little bit. You're welcome.
I think you should sleep in the spare room tonight.
I agree. We need to keep our distance.
And don't worry, ladies, and some men, Dave Franco shows his butt, too. And you get a little dabble at the penis. A little dabble, little taste. Production's a fairly boring thing to talk about here. I'm not familiar with this writer and director. I believe he's newish on the market. He does a great job. This is a very pretty looking movie. You got some unique camera angles. He's not going nuts with anything. It's just very serviceable to the story. Music is the same. Very well tempoed across the board. The movie doesn't unfortunately have one or two breakout wow moments to it. It's just consistently good from beginning to end. Almost all pros aside, one tiny con I'll give it is there is a good chunk of predictability to the story. Outside of the somewhat unpredictable ending, you kind of know beat for beat where this is going to end up at least, who the main players are, what's going on underneath the surface. It's stuff you've seen before. But again, it's handled very well. Great acting from both of our leads, a very creative storyline, and a perfect pace with just enough visual clues to keep multiple watchings an earned thing. Well, there you have it, my review for Together. I recommend it. Check it out in theaters. Show it some support, show it some love, and we'll get more of this crazy shit down the road. Let me know if you saw it already, if you plan to now. Please, again, think of subbing to the show. Adam Does Movies on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Hit them all up, please. I have a brand new merch store. You might see some of the shirts floating under YouTube if you're there, but you can check that out. There's a link in the link tree. Lots of fun stuff. Shirts with the catchphrases on it. I think you'll enjoy them. Okay, that's all I got for you. Hopefully I see you next time. Take care. Wow, we had some fun, did we? On a serious note, if you appreciate my content, I am a one-man band. This is a ton of work and you want a way to give back. Head on over to patreon.com/AdamDoesMovies. There's tons of exclusive perks over there. Look at these awesome supporters so far. There's some of the best people on this planet, and you could be one of them. You could be right there alongside, and I would appreciate it.